Hey everybody, it's Lance the Lush, and it's another edition of Lush Talks. Now you see it right on the screen. It says Boston beer surges on takeover speculation. Now, Lush fans, I kinda saw this coming, and let me explain. They didn't know what they wanted to be when they grew up. Now I'm gonna read a little bit of this article here. This is from Bloomberg, obviously. It says Boston beer company's comeback bid is anything but certain, and that could be a good thing. If the company fails to turn around its business in the next year, it could mean a buyer comes knocking. An analysis suggested that in a report Tuesday, the remarks renewed takeover speculation for the maker of Sam Adams, helping send its shares up mostly almost 2 months. The brewer has struggled to boost its performance as the craft beer industry gets more crowded. Drinkers now have more than 4,000 craft breweries to choose from, and the Boston-based company is losing market share. Boston Beer is also still searching for its next chief executive officer. Those struggles could ultimately bring a windfall. Credit Suisse Group's AG's Laurent Granant said in a note. Although founder Jim Koch seems determined to turn the business around, we think the likelihood of a takeover goes higher if Samuel Adams' rejuvenation efforts ultimately fails in the next year. Okay, now understand something. When I said that they never figured out what they wanted to be when they grew up. Back when they got big, now they're talking about a takeover from Molson Coors. Now I'll get to that in a moment. I would say this: they were pioneers on a national scale as far as craft beer, because they were. But keep in mind, they were for the longest time, from a national standpoint, they were the only player in town. And they thought they can rule the roost forever. And it says in the second paragraph in this article, there's 4,000 craft breweries, quote unquote. Even though it's more than that, it's way over 5, so that article is technically incorrect. They didn't grow with the times, sort of. Now, like I said, they thought they had no competition. All of a sudden, competition showed up, and they got caught flat-footed. They really did, and that's why I said they never figured out what they wanted to be when they grew up. They are still, the best way to describe it, they're still in that hot shot upper 20 CEO phase, not the mid 40s, middle age, know what they're doing, know what little moves they have to make mindset yet. And that's what I mean by they haven't grown up yet. They want to be a craft brewer so bad. The problem is, and let's talk about Sam Adams on their own, not anything else that they have. As much as they produce, they are right at the line. They've been at the line for the longest time. And you can say they didn't sell out. You can say they sold out because they did an IPO. However you want to look at it. That's totally up to you. Now, the whole Molson Coors thing, that actually, from a business standpoint, actually makes resemblance of sense. And let me explain why. The reason why they got big nationally in the first place, they inked that huge distribution deal with Miller. That's the only reason why they got big as they did. That they would have been, if not, the odds are pretty good they'd still be an ultra strong regional brewery in the Northeast. And I honestly believe that without that distribution deal, they would not be in the position they are in right now. Now, with that being said, scrolling down the article a little bit. Now, it says under those circumstances, I'm skipping a little bit. Molson Coors Brewing Company would be the most agreeable candidate for the coach. Consider a buyer, he said. Granier said his rating of Boston beer shared to neutral from underperform. And Molson Coors obviously declined to comment. And you get the blah blah blahs of this. Now it says here Boston beer has diversified in other beverages, such as twisted tea and truly spiked and sparkling hard cider. You know, and it hired a new chief marketing officer who resigned the beer labels and packaging. That's the end of the article. You know, they tried, but it's just, in all honesty, at this pace and what's going on in the brewery scene for Boston beer, it might be too little too late. Now, for the record, I do enjoy good Sam Adams from time to time. I really do. You know, I never had a cross word about them. I never said they were bad. But it's something I can sit down and enjoy every now and then because it's nice and refreshing to have something different, even though they're one of the quote unquote big boys. Yeah. Now, I hope they don't get bought out, but they might not have a choice. Being like I said, that 29-year-old CEO hotshot as a metaphor, they really still haven't figured out what they wanted to be when they totally grew up. And I hope the best for them. And this is just for all you aspiring brewers out there that might watch this. Boston beer is a cautionary tale on what could happen. Well, Lush fans, I'm gonna get off here. This is Lance the Lush of LTL Brewing Reviews, and stay tuned for the next edition of Lance the Lush.